but I'm more optimistic than a lot of my friends that think we're going into these what they call 15-minute cities, which I try to research, and I don't think that's total sci-fi stuff that I read about it, and the CBDCs that they're trying to create, where like you get your paycheck and you have to spend it in X amount of time. So if you get, let's just say for round numbers, $2,000 a month, you have to spend that $2,000 in 90 days.
Is that your universal basic income?
No. That's what they're trying to get rid of the dollar and go electric or,
digital. Like a digital currency. So, wait, let me see if I understand this. So, your paycheck.
Basically, they don't want you to save any money.
There's no savings whatsoever. What's the understanding behind that?
I don't know.
How can you save for like a house? How can you save for a car?
I don't know how.
Do you just have to figure out how to do enough means in 2 weeks to?
It goes to that thing of you will own nothing and like it. Is what I heard is the saying. A lot of people are scared that 2030 this is gonna happen, blah blah blah. But you know what? I mean, I've heard so many craziness. Like I was around Y2K and. Like, I remember Y2K, I had a buddy, and I don't want to say names, JR, and he had a girlfriend at the time. I forgot her name, Eileen, and she basically did not want to go out on 1999 to turn 2000. It was me, my girlfriend, my buddy Matt, his girlfriend, which is now his wife. But JR's like, hey, we can hang out and stay at my dad's house. And I was like, your dad's house, dude? It's 2000. It's going to be year 2000. We need to go out and celebrate. No, so-and-so's scared of Y2K. I'm like, that's not even a thing. I remember it's like whole, like turning to zero is going to screw up all the computers, this and that. But it ended up nothing ended up happening. I remember Matt was like, at like 10 o'clock was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm out of here. Him and his girl went and partied, and I was like looking at my girl, and I didn't want to leave because then GR would be by himself. Let's just say his name's GR. I don't know, but we stayed, and he's one of my buddies, but one of my best friends, like a brother to me. So I didn't want to be that guy, so I stayed with him. I hope he realizes they ruined my decade, century, all that good stuff. But yeah,
it doesn't end though. No, Y2K wasn't the only one. Remember 2012.
Yeah, it's all fear-mongering.
It's just this weird, we have this hard set date, this is the end of the world, or something's happening, we don't know.
Nostradamus said this.
You need to just put in all your money and invest into the shelter that's overpriced.
No, even with COVID. When COVID happened, people were buying those survival packs at Costco. I remember our neighbor got one, 2 of them, I think, and she's like, you better hurry up and get them. And we went, my wife's like, she bought into the whole fear thing. And I'm like, if we die, we die. It is what it is. And so we looked into buying one of these, and they were pretty expensive. I was like, that's a lot of money, but okay, whatever. It's like 1,000 meals or whatever in case something happens. Mm-hmm. And they were sold out at Costco. I was like, oh, I guess that's a sign we're gonna die. And nothing ended up happening. It was all fear mongering, and COVID was one of the craziest things. And if real quick on the COVID front, I remember in 2020. Spring break, I took the kids to St. George, Utah to visit Sam's brother. And I saw something on the news saying, oh, this is breaking out, this and that. And I didn't think anything of it. And so I was like, I'm going to go to the grocery store, get something real quick so we can, make steaks or whatever. And they had a Smith's, which is our Fry's because it's Kroger. When I got there, no toilet paper, canned food was gone. And think about this. This is a Mormon city, right? It's in Utah. So, God bless the Mormons. They've saved, if you ever see a Mormon pantry, they have tons of stuff, food ready for a rainy day or whatever. But this was crazy. Everything that was like, canned food, stuff like that was gone. Mm-hmm. Right there kind of hit me like, okay, this might be real. This might be some scary stuff. And then I started buying into the fear to some degree. That, because not fear of running out of stuff, but fear of humanity. Because when an event were to come, humans are terrible people, like neighbors turn against each other, family members lock their doors. I mean, it's very like Armageddon, cliquish, whatever you want to call it. That's what I fear. Not the fear of something bad happening, the fear that it gets too crazy. COVID was like right there where you saw the ugliness in people. You saw people's true colors, right? And for me, it's like, wow, just F it, man. If it happens, it happens. I'm done fear mongering. I tell my wife, same thing, like, hey, don't worry about it. Control what you can, and just everything else is going to work itself out. What do you think?
Well, the whole fear about the apocalypse, neighbors will turn against each other, because if you run out of resources and your neighbor's full of them, you either figure out how to make trade with them, or you take it. If you can outgun them, you take it.
And that's what's going to happen. People are, and society will collapse one day. Hopefully, when I'm not around, but it just does.
We have these prophecies of, like, again, Y2K or 2012, where it's like, okay, here's the hard set date. It's not worth believing those. If the apocalypse were to truly happen, it will come unannounced. The apocalypse happens actually every day around the world that we don't understand, but it's not happening in the United States. Right now, it's happening in Yemen. It's also happening in Syria. There's other parts of the world where the apocalypse is happening. And we think the apocalypse is, what, just hell raining down? No, it's just when society completely collapses and people are just trying to survive and doing anything to survive, even if it means killing your neighbor.
And it happens, like you said, third world countries. And when you go back to apocalypse, it's when they get bombed and stuff. That's their apocalypse. I mean, that's just the reality, and which sucks. But it's something that we never had here in the U.S. and hopefully we never will experience something like that, unless there's which can happen, a nuclear war. That's something that would be, something we couldn't control, and that would be end of the world. And I don't know why we even have. The only reason we have it is because our enemies have it, and why do we call them our enemies? Like there has to be something that brings the world together. Maybe Independence Day style, like invasion or something, like, something that we could all band together and be just the human race, but it'll never be that way. It's just everything. We're always divided by the simplest things. Look at sports. That's another thing that people are like divided. How many times do you see, like when football starts, how many drunk fans get in fights?
All the time.
They're probably neighbors, or live in the same city, and one's wearing an Eagles jersey, one's wearing a Chiefs jersey.
And all they have to say is like, your team sucks. It's like, hey man, F you. F me? Oh, come say it to my face. I will. What are you going to do? And they start throwing haymakers at each other. And it's just like, why? What
you're going to jail.
That? Like, what satisfaction are you trying to gain out of that?
No,
like,
really, they look stupid. I like watching it on YouTube just because they look stupid. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we're just, as society, as humans, we're just so divided, and I really don't see a solution. The only thing that brings us together, I guess, either church or sports or something you like, But even going to some parties that you go to, like work parties or someone's birthday party, there's always people talking either politics, religion, or something, and it might be against your view, or you might have a different view, you might have a neutral view, and if you have a neutral view, it's a bad view, and it's like you're never gonna win with some people.
In our society today, I mean, what you mentioned at parties, don't talk about religion or politics, and I agree with it, but for some reason our society has gotten way too comfortable talking about politics, and then now, and everyone knows it's going to start an argument. And some people are very dead hard on their beliefs. And people are only in this argument thinking that they can turn someone's hard opinions on things. It's like, no, people are set in their ways. And I don't know why people feel comfortable bringing up their political views, as if they're going to try to convince people to lean on their side. And if they don't, they get mad at them for not turning on their side. It's like, just leave people alone and talk about something else. Don't bring up politics. It's so exhausting when I go to any gathering and someone wants to talk about politics.
Yeah, I like to bring up politics, piss everyone off. Thanks for watching our clip. If you want to see more clips like this and you like our views, like the show, click here for some more clips. If you want to hear the whole podcast, watch the whole podcast, click here for the whole podcast. Remember, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll get back to you. Thank you, and have a great day.